In Paris, whose lights were extinguished under the occupation, where breathing was like treason, letters were an accusation, and silence was life, a man walked in the shadows. His name was Jean Moulin, but his real name was France. Jean Moulin was born from the ashes of the Republic, a former civil servant, mayor of Chartres, an intellectual with delicate features, but his features concealed a toughness that would not melt under the flames of suffering. When the Nazis invaded his country, he did not lay down his arms. Instead, he picked them up again, this time in the form of secret papers, radio calls, and resistance cells pulsating beneath the skin of cities. In those years, Jean ignited a flame in every darkness, traveling in disguise, planting plans, gathering the scattered resistance fighters and uniting them under a single banner that would not bow down. He called himself Max in resistance reports, but in the eyes of the Nazis, he had no name, only a ghost haunting their sleep, a story untold, but haunted. He knew that arrest awaited him. He wasn't oblivious to an impending betrayal, nor to the shadow of an old spy. But he chose to meet him nonetheless, in a modest house in Lyon where the resistance leaders had gathered. It was dawn on June 21, 1943. But dawn wasn't dawn, it was an ambush. The Gestapo's feet pounded on the door and entered like a storm. Jean didn't resist, didn't flee. He raised his eyes calmly, looking at the enemy as one looks at one's destiny. He gave a brief smile and said, "You're late." He was taken to Gestapo headquarters in Montluc, where the investigation was headed by Klaus Barbie, the Nazi butcher. Jean was dragged to a basement bare of nothing but iron and darkness, and there began the party of pain. But they took nothing from him. No name, no place, no scream. He remained silent, as if his tongue had learned to be silent for his country. 30 days of torture, yet he never betrayed anyone, never uttered a word, as if his mouth had been sealed by the oath of the Republic. On July 8, 1943, Jean Moulin died of his wounds on a train transporting him to Germany. He died in the shadows, as he had lived. But he did not die alone, the nation carried him in its hearts, until his face became a symbol. After the war, his ashes were transferred to the Pantheon, to remain among the greats who not only raised the banner, but also lifted the spirit itself above its wounds. Jean Moulin was not just a man. He was a voice in the darkness saying, "Freedom does not die, as long as there are those who refuse to bow."